In episode 2 of Lucky Last, get ready to dive deep into the realms of self-care, self-respect, and self-love with the incredible Tatiana Slezak. As an author and bioresonance practitioner, Tatiana brings a wealth of wisdom and compassion to the conversation. Join us as we explore Tatiana's transformative book, How to Get Out of the Fog, and uncover the secrets to reclaiming our sense of self-worth and nurturing our inner selves. This episode is not just about tips and tricks, it's a heartfelt journey towards healing and empowerment. So, whether you are seeking guidance of self-love or simply craving a connection with minded spirits, episode 2 of Lucky Last is sure to leave you feeling inspired and empowered. Stay tuned for this deeply moving episode. Hello, and welcome to Lucky Last, the podcast where every ending is just the beginning of something extraordinary. I'm your host, Marie, and in every episode, we'll uncover the most incredible stories of resilience, hard work, and success. Tatiana, bonjour.
Bonjour, dzień dobry.
Thank you so much for joining me in my podcast, Lucky Last. I'm really excited to start this discussion where we'll talk a lot about self-care, self-love, self-development, and self-growth. But let me introduce you first. You are a bioresonance practitioner. You are a counselor. You are an author. But above all, you are a woman, a mother, and a wife. You came from Poland 15 years ago, and you pretty much had nothing in your pocket. You had to start a new life from scratch, and you did pretty good. You are as well a firm believer in self-development and self-growth, and this is why you wrote this book, How to Get Out of the Fog. This book brings a refreshing perspective on self-growth and self-development, and we will talk about it, but I really like the fact that you link as well self-growth and self-development with success, and how is it important to know who we are, our weakness and our strengths to be able to achieve our goals in life. So Tatiana, thank you and welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So let's start from the beginning. You arrived in Australia 15 years ago from Poland with your husband and your 3-year-old daughter. You had nothing in your pockets and pretty much nothing in mind. My question is, why did you decide to come to Australia, and how was the experience when you arrived?
I always love when someone asks me this question, why did you come? I was like, because Eva, I'm asking myself this question every single day. But the truth is 47 at this point. So I grew up in Poland during communist time, and my uncle left to Australia, and it created this dream, the idea about this amazing country that I would like to visit one day. And I received the postcard with Sydney Opera House, and now we are in Sydney.
Yes.
Sydney Opera House. And I was like, I want to be there one day. Maybe I will leave it one day. And once, to make the story short, I got married. We had a child, and things didn't work the way we wanted to. And situation back in Poland was a bit worse than it is right now.
Okay.
So we thought, okay, maybe that's time to make this dream come true. So that was my dream. I was the one pushing. I cannot blame anybody. I cannot blame my husband for bringing me here.
You want to convince him to come here?
So we applied for to come here as permanent resident from Poland. Took us 2 years, and we thought we can always come back. And here we are.
15 years later.
15 years
Still
later,
here.
still here.
And you had another daughter here.
Yes. So my younger daughter, Kaya, was born here.
Wonderful.
She's Aussie.
Aye, aye, aye. How was your situation when you arrived with your kid and your husband? Because I guess You had family, you had a situation in Poland, and you had to start everything from scratch here. How did it go?
Yeah, so there was orchestra welcoming me. I had millions on my account. It was so easy. There were people waiting with
The dream.
job.
Welcome to
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Do you have any other question? It was amazing. God, of course, I'm joking. We didn't come with nothing. We came with minus something. We came with huge debt. Actually, that was our start. And seriously, to be honest with you, I don't know how we did it. And if you ask me with the knowledge that I have now to do it again, I would refuse. So yes, Kaya and Nadia was 3 years old. She didn't realize really of what's happening. We couldn't find a job. My husband, even though it said on all the website, there are plenty of jobs for IT, he couldn't find the job because he didn't have local experience. If you don't have local experience, you can't find the job. And it's like that.
It's a circle. You never get out of it.
Yeah, it was extremely, extremely hard. I even remember little things when my daughter asked me to buy something for her for $2. I couldn't afford it because and money were finishing. But I really believe in higher power. Something was watching over us because the moment literally money, I don't know, I had few dollars left. I got the phone call from Polish Community Council asking me to do some paperwork for them. So that's how everything started to roll. I got the first job, not him. And
would have thought.
Yeah. And that's how it started. But beginning was very hard.
Okay. Do you think your mindset has a lot to do with it, and the fact that you stay resilient and didn't give up and say to yourself, listen, it's going to happen, or way or another, it's going to happen? Do you think your mindset helped?
Huge. I would say 95%. I don't know how I measure it, but that's how I feel. It was the mindset. First of all, we were not in England. We were in Australia. Coming back would mean that our debt would be even bigger. So that's the first thing. But I remember our conversation with my husband when we were like, Australia is this, Australia that, we don't like this, we don't like, why is this, why is that? But then we thought, Australia is not going to change for us. We need to change to Australia. We need to change our mindset. We need to change and understand how people think. We cannot say why people think this way, why they do it this way. They shouldn't do it this way. Maybe they shouldn't, but they're still not going to change. So if we want to live in this country, we have to look, okay, they want local experience. They want you to have that. They want you to have those skills. They want your resume to look like this. They want all those stuff. And this is, people communicate here this way. Networking is important. Meeting people is important. The way they speak is a bit different because we are, for example, very direct Polish people in the communication. Australians are more indirect. So we were working on that. And I stopped blame game.
Yes.
The moment I stopped the blame game, the door started to open because I didn't feel like a victim of poor me. I'm such a terrible situation. It was more, okay, step by step, what can I do about that?
This is very powerful, and it's absolutely true. You can't change your environment or the experiences that are happening to you, the events that are coming to you, but you can change your mindset on how you approach them, how you are going to manage them. And this is really important, yes. So you got this job and things started to be a bit easier for you and your husband and your family. And did you start focusing on self-development? You have a passion, a hobby for that, and you wrote this book, and we will talk about the book, but I'm trying to understand, how did you come to that?
So I already started a little bit back in Poland, but here I was able to practice what I was, because, you know, it's different when you're learning this in Poland and you're in this safe environment, then actually things are really shitty.
Yes.
You need to start practicing what you're saying.
What you're preaching.
Yes, absolutely. So appreciating little things, even though we're living in not even one bedroom, in little studio with the child. And then things started to get better, but then things went a bit downwards when financially, I'm talking, when my other daughter was born, because then we lost my income.
Yes.
But the little things to be really grateful for. And I've noticed that that's really working, because again, it's opening the gate for more good things to come. Instead of, if I keep complaining about everything I have, I really bring more things to complain about. And sure, there were lots of things to complain about, but because we all, me and my husband, very often we sat down in the evening and we were talking, what are we grateful for? What happened today? And I don't know, your energy changes then.
Yes.
And you can see opportunities that you wouldn't see otherwise if you closed, if you keep whinging, if you keep complaining. And I'm not saying don't complain, because to release things from your chest is also very important. Not just pretend, oh, I live in this la la land, everything is fine. I cried a lot, I swear a lot,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
everything. Yes, it's also very important to say what you have to say. And I call it dusting. So I'm dusting, saying, this and then, okay.
This is a
So what can I do?
very European mindset as well, to always like dust. That's a very good way of calling it. I love it. But I think you're right. It's important, and then you move on.
Yeah. And okay, so now once I dusted, what can I do about that? It's not like I was like, I'm so grateful for everything. No. I had my moments, and I still have, and I think everybody does. But it's important to release this energy as well that's stuck in you, this anger, this sadness, missing family. All of a sudden, there is nobody to help you out with anything. You have little child crying and wanting to hug from a grandma. And then you have guilt.
Yes.
It's a volcano emotion.
Yes. Especially motherhood in itself, it's already really difficult, and you have to manage your emotion and your guilt. But being far away from everyone and your family is extremely challenging. That's true. You grew up and you get your kids growing up without their family, and yes, this guilt will never leave you, but at the same time you provide for them a life that they would probably never have there.
That's right.
And I think you're right. Keep reminding that you are doing this for the good.
But then there is a guilt, not even towards the child, but towards people who left there.
Yes. It's a never-ending story.
No.
It is. It's a tough decision, like being an expat and never coming back, or not coming back and building a family overseas is so challenging on so many different areas, Like one morning you wake up, you just want to go home and you can't do anything about it. It's so far. Where we are in Australia is so far from everything. You can't even think about it. And if something happened to your family, you are so far from there that you even don't know if you can make it, and you live constantly with that. And I'm going through that all the time. But I try to keep reminding myself that my kids have an extraordinary chance and opportunity to grow up in Australia and to grow up with a multicultural background, with parents from France and Australia and Russia. And I try to tell myself that they will be grateful for that later. So yes, need to keep going.
Yeah, and it was an amazing moment for me when my daughter actually told me, thank you.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
Because absolutely the sense of guilt all the time. And one day she, in her 16th birthday, she said, Mom, I miss my grandparents so much, but I understand why you did it. And thank you for that.
That's the most beautiful thing that you can even hear from them, that's, they got it.
Yeah,
So
make me cry.
you're very right. You did it. You did it for them, and look, they are acknowledging that. So yes, this is really powerful. Let's go back to the book before I need tissues. So I really like this book. I'm very excited, just by the way, because today I'm going to buy my notebook for writing my grateful journal. I know you are not the first one to say you should have a grateful journal and, put your thought on there. But the way you explain it, it's like really simple and really makes sense. And you realize, oh, actually, yes, I can do this exercise on a regularly basis. It's not going to take too much time and it's going to help me a lot. So really like the grateful chapter. But what I want to talk right now, it's about the wheel of life. So it's a tool for measuring the satisfaction and assessing each wheel with our satisfaction level. And I found this tool so useful because it made me realize that there are some levels and some areas in my life where I'm actually not really happy or doing well. And I was going with the flow and, just working, busy, doing this and that without really realizing that I should be much happier in this instance and there and there. So this wheel of life helped me to start working on some areas in my life that need work. Can you tell us more about the wheel of life?
Yeah, wheel of life. I'm very practical.
Yes.
Like I have kids, I'm busy, so I like really good assessment tools that won't take ages to do. So wheel of life is basically a circle that is divided to certain parts, and it's a quite known tool used by coaches, and it can pinpoint different parts of life. In my wheel of life, I put self-discipline, self-love, family, and other areas. And your job is to basically drop
Yes.
the percentage of how, if you have maybe 1% or you're fully happy, then you draw the full circle. It's like a big apple pie, basically divided too. And I started doing this wheel of life when my situation was quite down, and I realized things can change but it's very good to look from the perspective on your life on the wheel of life. And I've always heard when I was a little girl, you can't have everything in your life. If you have love, you can't have money. If you have money, you can't have love or success. I truly believe that not really you can, but you should have everything in your life.
Yes.
If you are a very successful businesswoman, but your relation, I'm not saying everybody needs to be married, but if generally you put everything on the side, I don't care about my relationships, you never have the sense of full satisfaction. Then if you really want to have your business, but you only concentrate on your family, you won't have the sense of satisfaction. So especially if you want to run a business, you need to have everything. I always thought you can't have everything. It's not really you can't. You have to have everything in order to succeed. Because for me, even success with my book would never make me happy if my relationships suck.
Yes.
And this is how you can quickly measure it, where you are, roughly. And the best thing is you can print it. I got even the link where you can print as many copies as you want and do it every month and see where you are today. Because it doesn't mean that it's forever.
Yes, absolutely. And I will keep track of it. And my goal within the next year, 12 months, is definitely to improve and get hopefully a full wheel of life very soon.
Keep the old copy.
Yes, I will. I will definitely.
Which is
in your book, you talk a lot as well about self-discipline, gratitude, self-love. And you also insist on savoring the small victories and accept that the journey can take time. So what would you recommend to someone who starts their personal growth and development journey?
First of all, don't be too hard on yourself. take you never get to the point where I'm done. You're done when you go to your grave, basically. So it's a process and it's going to take time. You have step back, step forward, sometimes 10 step back to do 20 step forward. So just don't be too hard yourself and take it as a journey, as fun as it can be, not haha fun, but an interesting journey to look who you really are, because often we don't have time to look at who we really are, what we really want, what we really need, and what is really important in life. We chase things and we waste energy often on things that at some point we may realize are not that important. So basically, be good to yourself. And especially I see it with women. I believe men have the same thing, but especially with women, because I mostly talk and with women, that we have this imaginary whip that we use very often. Nobody uses it on us, but we use it on ourselves very often. Not good enough. Oh, I started this self-development thing. It doesn't work. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. Yes, you did. You may not notice very quickly the improvements, but they're there. Just takes time.
Yes, we tend to hit ourselves way too many times, every day, on a daily basis, constantly, for everything and anything. I was just telling you about my story where I forgot to give my son his lunchbox, and I blame myself all day because of that. And when I picked him up, he just told me that was okay, I got food. So things that I didn't need to blame myself for, things that I didn't need to spend the day telling myself that I'm a bad mom because I forgot a lunchbox. I think we need to be way more easy on us and stop self-talking badly. Like very often I say, silly mommy. I said that because I did something silly. I don't know what I did, but I should not say that. And my son should not hear me talk to myself saying that I'm silly. I'm not silly. I made mistake like everyone, and that's it. But yes, I think we need to be easy on us. And we were talking about something in the car, which is very interesting because we are both foreign, we are both immigrants here. And we were talking about the accent and how our accent made us feel uncomfortable. And it took me years. And even today, sometimes when I'm talking to people that don't know me, I have 2 seconds of, I need to speak. He or she needs to hear my accent. How are they going to react? Feeling immediately inferior because of this accent. And for a long time, I hesitated. Should I do this podcast in French? Should I do this podcast in English? People were like, you can do it in English, but put subtitles, people will understand you better. And I got so frustrated. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it in English without subtitles because I think people can understand me, And of course, I will do subtitle for people we can't hear, but I don't want to do subtitle for people who don't want to make the effort to hear my accent. And we were talking about that. And you asked me a good question, and you ask, but whose problem is that? Is it theirs or it's yours? And I said, it's mine. He said, but who does it bother? And I said, I don't know, I think it's me. And you say, yeah, just you. You need to get out of it. Can you tell me a few words about it?
Oh, it's big one. It's a big one. The moment I remember so many times I walk into the shop and I say, hello, and they say good, and they say, how are you? And I say good, and they ask me, where are you from? And I'm like, how come? How dare you ask where I'm from? I'm from Melbourne, but originally where are you from? And I had this revelation. It was 3 months ago or so. I met with amazing women, and they were all Australian. And I was ready to do my finals for TED Talk.
Wow.
Which I thought was really leaving my comfort zone, accent and everything.
I can imagine, yes.
Yeah. And I said, I have this problem because people pick on my accent. People laugh at my accent. I go to the shop, they ask me where you're from straight away. And it's just not nice. And I feel I shouldn't do TED Talk because I have an accent. And they said, you should do TED Talk because you have an accent. Not only, but because you have an accent. You have no idea how interesting it is to listen to you because you have an accent. Yes, maybe not for audible book, but I think actually you need specific voices to do audible book. But they said people ask you where you're from because they're interested, not because they want to pick on you. Said, yeah, blah, 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 you're saying this to make me feel better. And they were so convincing. They said, no, that's not true. And it woke me up after my 14 years feeling because of my accent. They told me it's really interesting. You will stand out from the crowd. And when they said I will stand out from the crowd, not only because I'm tall, but also because of this, and I can use it as my advantage. It's just something flip in me. And I said, it really doesn't. It's really something I can use as my advantage. And those questions, because then I thought if someone speaks to me with an interesting accent, in deep down, I want to know where they're from.
We all do. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. And I never meant it in a wrong way.
No. I think we should all be way more confident, you're right, with our accent and take it as an advantage and not a disadvantage. We are probably way less boring when people listen to us. This is what I try to tell myself.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then tell me which accent is a good one. You go to England, you have plenty of accents there. You go to Australia, you go to Queensland, you go to New Zealand, you have different accents.
True. That's true.
You know.
And even, Americans speak English, okay, American. Half of the English speaker cannot understand them. So what's the problem?
They can understand each other. I can understand Scottish, Irish, and Australians. They can sometimes understand each other. Yeah. But that was so helpful. I'm so grateful to those women. And even though I didn't make it to full finals on TED Talk, I felt like a winner also because of them.
That's amazing.
Because before I would think I didn't got to the finals because of my accent. But then I thought, no, probably they just were looking for something else.
Yes.
And that's fine.
And that's
it didn't even cross my mind that it was because of my accent. And I'm really happy with that. Just sometimes you need a little switch.
Absolutely. Powerful. You also say something really important about letting go. And believe that true success is not only about achieving a specific goal, but also about the journey and the experiences that come with it. I can only agree with that. We focus so much on the destination that we really forget how interesting and good and inspiring can be the journey. So really want to hear your thought on that.
I was flying today to see you in Sydney. Normally, I will be just sitting there waiting for the flight to finish because I have things to do. I'll be thinking, how are we going to talk and this and that. I meditated the whole thing, the whole trip. I did my hand massage. I did some neck exercises. I was here and then and I'm so proud of myself. Our final destination is grave. That's our final destination. Maybe afterlife, after that, we don't really know.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. But often we lose so much time when we concentrate on final destination. People are like, I cannot wait when my kids get older. And they miss on so much. I realize my kids are now 17 and 11. I don't know. It was so quickly. It just went so quickly. And we miss so much on self-development, on people that we can meet, on appreciation of little things if we just concentrate on And I've learned this simple way, even thanks to my one gentleman I met. I don't like cooking, for instance, even simple things like that. And instead of just thinking, okay, I want to be done with this cooking, concentrate on the process of putting things in.
Yeah.
Because life is then so much more interesting. Otherwise, you just have those pinpoints of your destination and
you're even not enjoying it that much.
No.
True.
So journey and even the self-development journey, because what would be your goal with self-development? That you would be like what? Perfect, walking on water, or what? What is final, right? Because even if your wheel of life will be full, there is something else. There would be still something else to do.
Yes. There is always something else if you listen
but
to yourself.
Thanks to what you do, your kids are also picking up on that, and they will give it to their children, and their children give it to their children. What you do to for yourself has impact on other people. Huge impact, especially as women. We have such a huge impact.
Totally.
I hope it makes sense.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Yes. We definitely need to be more soft with ourselves. And there is still a long way to go, unfortunately. But by little steps and by enjoying the way to get there will make us better.
And if I can say, sometimes not even enjoying. That's also the process.
Yeah.
Not enjoying what you're doing, it's also a process, because you can grow from not enjoying. Not only, there's this, I think, a bit misconception in spiritual world. Do only what you enjoy. Go with the flow.
Yes.
But sometimes you need to do shitty stuff to grow. Painful, like hell, things to grow. So it's not just enjoy, just do. But from this book wouldn't be here if not my pain that happened. Your child wouldn't be born if not your pain of giving birth as well.
Yes.
So I think there's a bit not maybe too much, but I see a lot. And that's why I've put in my book self-discipline as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started my business, I realized that I go with the flow. I want to do everything that makes me feel good. And all of a sudden, there's so much stuff not done.
Yes, absolutely.
And
how can you appreciate as well when you finally achieve it if you didn't sweat and give everything to get there?
Absolutely.
You gave this example. You want to start running 5Ks when you do a marathon, a 5K marathons, but you need to train for that. But imagine the proudness and the happiness if after 2 months of training and you start with 1 kilometer a day and you finish by 5 and you accomplish this marathon, this running race, how proud you must feel after finally doing it. Because a month ago, you could not even run for 500 meters. So I agree. Self-discipline is very important. Very important. And you're right. These days, people tend to say, don't worry, just enjoy, live the moment. Yes, of course, live the moment, but give you some achievable goals and give everything you can to achieve it.
Yes. And whenever we look at people who really inspire us, they went through so much. It's never perfect house, perfect environment, everything perfect. And I read this once, the story, if you have a plant and you give the plant perfect environment, perfect water, perfect sun, it's going to be a really weak plant. They need wind, they need storm, they need everything to actually thrive and be stronger. So there's too much protection, a bit too much protection towards ourselves. And even sometimes I think towards kids as well. We need to let kids experience stuff. We need to let ourselves experience stuff. Yeah, it's a big topic though. Just touching base on that.
Yes. And the book is great because you get a lot of suggestion, as I said, and some example and some exercise that can help you to start working towards this self-discipline, self-love, self-care. So now let's talk about your expertise, your other expertise. You are a bioresonance practitioner.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about it? Because this is a very interesting subject, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know more.
So basically, bioresonance, it's not woo stuff that when people hear like, oh my gosh, it's a machine.
Okay.
It's a machine that is adjusting frequency in the body.
Okay.
The way it works, I try to understand myself. I explain to myself like to five-year-old kid. We have energy in our body, which means we have frequency in our body. Every cell has certain frequency. And when body gets sick, emotionally or physically, and the frequency in the body is changing. So basically, in a really holistic level, the machine is putting the right frequency into your body.
Okay.
And it's your body's work on a deep cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
It's your body's work to pick it up and adjust it and feel better. Depends on how long the issue was for. It may take short time or it may take a little while before body can say, oh, okay, this is what I need. This is good. Because we may get used to wrong stuff, as we all know, wrong food, then we can still go on wrong food, right? So that's the same thing with that. So machine is from Germany. It's called Bicon. And depends on what's happening in the body, the frequency is being adjusted. So in a nutshell, that's how it works.
Thank you. And you are also working on energetic cleaning.
Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one because when I start my business, I've noticed I have so many blockages from... Here you go. Only me, nobody else, right? I realized that I am being influenced by my father subconsciously, for instance, because he had businesses and his businesses didn't really work. So I realized one day that I have the same fear in my head and things were not working the way I wanted them to work. So in a nutshell, and these are things that I do online very often with clients, can be done in person as well. We go to body emotional blockages that are hidden in our body. And on the subconscious level, we remove those blockages from the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you go through that? You talk through the trauma?
We talk through, but also there could be certain things, and then we remove it by touching meridian on the head.
Okay.
If people would like to read about this more, it's based on a method called body codes, and I just add some personal tweak to it.
Okay.
So we create the space together. I have the table with different emotions. We go through different emotions, and I also use something like biosensor and this is something I don't know how it works. It stops on a certain emotion, and then we talk about this. Is it here? Do you think that it might be there?
Okay.
But what I like about this method, it's a bit different than psychology. We don't go and relieve it. Mm-hmm. We go and release it. So we don't have to go and leave it again and talk about this thousands of times. Okay. Again, very practical. There's this amazing movie, Another Self, on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And there is also the book, You Were Not Born This Way, or something like that. I will send it to you, where we can have programs from our ancestors, even back to great grandmothers that we have no idea of, and that's blocking you and stopping you from achieving your full potential, regardless of what you're doing. And this method is helping to release it, and I love it very, very much.
Tatiana, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, pleasure.
As I said before, your book helped me a lot to realize that there is so many other ways in my life where I need to improve. So thank you for that. The book is called How to Get Out of the Fog, and I will share your details in the comments. Thank you so much for your time, and I will keep you posted with my progress in terms of self-development.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Lucky Last. If you enjoyed today's conversation, remember to subscribe or follow me on your favorite podcast platform. And if you are more of a visual learner, you can catch the video version of this episode on my YouTube channel. Just search for Lucky Last and hit subscribe to never miss an episode. As always, your support means the world to me. So until next time, keep chasing your dreams and embracing those lucky last chances. See you soon!